Life gets better once you stop resisting and start accepting what can't be changed. A super powerful lesson that I've learned in my own life is that when the time is right for something to happen, it won't feel forced, everything is just gonna flow. But when life is providing you with a ton of resistance, serenity now! Sometimes of course this is testing your will to overcome that resistance and break through barriers, but other times life is actually asking you to accept your current circumstances so that this way you can allow things to flow and you can actually overcome that situation when the time is right.
Feel the flow happy.
And so the latter is what I'm going to be talking about more in today's video. To be clear, I'm not saying don't do everything in your power to take control over what you can, but rather accept what can't be controlled, and sometimes just allowing things to be as they are is going to allow you to move forward for the better. When you can say, okay, I guess I wasn't meant for that, or maybe just not right now, or this must be my current path, you let up and release that negative energy, and are able to put more good positive energy out. I have a few stories and examples in my own life that I feel are really going to bring this point home. And yes guys, I know I have a sty in my eye, but trust me, it actually looks way better now than it did yesterday, and I can't let the people down. So I'm pushing through and filming this awesome video in spite of this annoyance, so I hope you guys appreciate that resilience in me. So without further ado, let's dive deeper now.
Give me a...
What's happening guys, welcome back to Jared and James channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys know it, must be not subscribe to the channel so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform. If you guys have not already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links purchased on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEIS.com. Buy the book, support me as always, and the support is very much appreciated. Also on that website, hopefully by the time this video comes out, you will also be able to check out my shirts and merch. So if you guys have done that also, make sure to do that as well. Really cool stuff. Well, I believe very strongly in our own free will and the power in each of our choices.
You know what that says?
No, I don't read Sanskrit.
Make reasonable choices.
Sometimes the best decision is actually just to accept what is and give up that resistance. Because when you resist up against something that can't be changed, you're essentially hurting yourself twice. Because on the one hand, you have the frustrating event or the event that isn't ideal and isn't going your way, and then on top of that you're now getting frustrated or upset that you can't move it or you can't change it.
George is getting upset!
You're pushing up against this impenetrable force, but maybe this thing is actually redirecting you towards where you currently belong. It's as a super powerful Jelly Roll clip that I saw a few months ago. I'm gonna see right now if I can pull it up.
I love all this property, but I got 3 or 4 spots that are my little spots. You know what I mean? It's crazy, dude. But this right here, I think this represents my life in such a way. Rocky, still having to find my way around, but just trying to naturally go where it takes me now. Looking at a body of water like this, is my mentor Miles tells me, it's real simple. Is I spent a lot of my life trying to go this way against it. Everything opened up for me the moment I started going with it. When I started accepting there was going to be rocks along the way, when I started understanding that sometimes you got to turn right, sometimes you got to go left, but you just got to relax and let it go, and sometimes you got to find your way. You look at little spots on this creek and you'll see where water's having to find its way.
So he speaks about how early on in his life, he was resisting up against the current, and this caused him a ton of stress and a ton of pain, but once he decided to go with the current, his life was able to find its natural flow and its natural path.
Feel the flow happy. Feel it.
Resistance can show up as anger, denial, or frustration, and by having these extra stressors, especially when it's something we can't control, this can cause burnout and won't allow us to continue on our tasks that we do have control over. And as I always say, I'm not telling you guys that you should be denying your emotions, because it is so important to feel what we have to feel in order for them to pass through.
You got a little rage.
And now they want me to bottle it up. It makes me so mad!
But by consciously and mindfully allowing ourselves to accept what can't be controlled, we're going to be able to reduce stress and find peace. Now, a personal story. Recently in my own life, my parents wanted me to take the bar exam in order to become a patent agent, even when they know and I know that is not my passion, and it's most definitely not what I want to be doing full time. I have been helping out my dad for the past few years, and I've been working for him basically as a patent agent, but just without the title, because he's a patent attorney. So this has been a way for me to make money over the past few years while I'm building up these platforms and my book, which of course, as you know by now, I hope to make those things ultimately my living. However, according to my dad, doing this would actually help him out a lot more, and I can make more money this way if I pass the test. However, initially I was resistant to this
Maybe you should take a civil service test.
I'm not taking a civil service test.
because I wouldn't be fully committed to my content, and I wouldn't have to add extra studying or extra hours onto that. But then I realized, like, this isn't going to change my commitment to my dreams, and this is actually going to help to further my pursuit, because it allows me to continue having flexible hours, make money, put the money back into what I'm doing content-wise and merch-wise. So I realized, like, for whatever reason, this is my current path. And my current path, doing the things I love at the moment, isn't making me money right now, but I do know that it will happen when the time is right. And who knows, it may even happen by the time I take the test.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
But I realized that being mad or upset about this isn't making me feel better, and it's resisting up against something that's actually outside of my control. So I made the internal decision to accept that, like, this is my situation right now. So I have to make the best of it. And my dad has actually helped to make the studying fun, kind of. And I also realized that, like, allowing things to flow in all areas of my life is also going to make the content better, and it's going to make the message better too. And who knows, maybe in some weird way, I'll actually be able to use that title for something even more important, or something like I value more. And it was like, as soon as I surrendered to what I couldn't change, it felt like I took a huge burden off my back, especially because that wasn't fair to me to add on another problem or another stressor in my life. But by not viewing this thing as wrong or bad, I'm allowing myself to find peace within the chaos. Trust that God's timing and the universe's timing is always perfect, as long as we're using our own free will to become the best version of ourselves. What's meant to be will be, and if the person or thing or career is meant to happen and is meant to come your way, it will, and most likely it's not going to feel forced. And you or I have to trust that.
I'm asking you to trust me.
Don't fight up against the when, trust that timing. Because it's like, let's say you try to force a relationship with someone when the time isn't right in either of your lives, but maybe if both of you do some healing or get to the right place in your lives, maybe it actually works out seamlessly. Acceptance, once again, is not passively allowing life to happen to you, but making peace with what can't be changed. Acceptance can lead to peace of mind and less anxiety about what is. And I see this as a huge step in personal growth, and a lot of people out there are never going to reach this point. Because one thing that doesn't go how they want it to is going to create too much friction that, like, they can never overcome.
This whole universe is against me.
Or it's like when it comes to my whole health situation and my healing journey from these massive health challenges. Well, I can't control directly when I get all better, so as a result, there's no reason for me to add this extra burden by trying to rush the process or saying that, like, if it doesn't happen by this time, I'm quitting, I'm giving up, throwing the towel in.
I quit!
It's not meant for me. Now, of course, acceptance of my current situation and seeing it all as perfectly imperfect is what allows me to do a podcast, continue on my training, continue connecting with all these amazing people, and mainly not changing what I'm doing and not changing what I'm all about. I am taking control over my actions that are going to lead towards healing as best I can every day. I am taking control over my actions when it comes to building a podcast, when it comes to all my training, putting out, promoting the book, etc., etc. But I'm not in charge of when everything comes together. So I may as well ride the current, keep on following my passions, and allowing all the things that can be controlled to be as they are. Or it's like with my podcast. On the one hand, I could have been like, I'm gonna wait until I sound all better, or until I'm fully healed before I get started, even though I know, like, deep down this is what I really want to do, and I know, like, that this is gonna light me up, and help me be of most service to the world, and help the most people possible. So by accepting my current situation, even with all my healing challenges, even with my speech challenges, as they currently are, I was able to say to myself, alright, well, if this is how it's supposed to be, then I'm gonna go with it this way. And I haven't looked back since. And moving along, the same thing goes for people or relationships or friendships. It's very hard to change people. Not saying that it can't be done, because of course, that's one of the reasons why I have this podcast, is hopefully change people for the better. But I'm talking about changing the very core of someone as an individual. It's not going to just happen overnight, it's not just going to snap your fingers and it's going to happen, and some people may never change. So if you're to base a friendship or a relationship on what once was, but then, like, the person changed for the worse, or what you think you can turn the person into, you're most likely fighting a losing battle. And it's like this famous sportscaster Colin Cowherd often says, when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. So if you're resisting what the person is showing you, who ends up losing? You do.
Doofus?
But if you still like them in spite of all their flaws, and you're not trying to change them the way that you want to and the way, like, that they're not ready to, then great, you could still have a healthy bond or a healthy relationship. But if you're waiting to change them into something that, like, you can accept, then it's not worth it. And yes, people change based on their environment, or actually wanting to change it and committing to a change.
You can change, you can adapt.
And sometimes this is for the better once again, or other times it's for the worse. Sometimes you're compatible with the person at one point in their life, at one point in your life, but not compatible now. So if you're hoping to change the person back to how you want them to be, it's most likely not going to happen, but maybe you actually both reconnect at a time that's better in your lives. And that's where the whole riding the current comes in, as opposed to forcing it to happen or resisting up against it. Next up, I'm going to get into how to shift from resistance into acceptance. As you may or may not know by now, I'm super big on mindfulness and meditation, as this is going to help us become aware of when and what we are resisting without reacting in an emotional response.
That's it. This is it. I'm done.
Another key is reframing our mindset and going away from why is this happening to me to what can I learn, or what do I think I'm supposed to learn from this? Can the situation help me grow in any way, or make me a better person? It's also essential to have self-compassion instead of being super harsh on yourself when life gives you a challenge. Try to see if you can be more understanding.
It's not your fault.
And maybe even have some gratitude in knowing that you can make this all work out in your favor. So to close things up, resistance to what is and what can't be changed will hurt you, whereas acceptance and taking on the perspective of what am I supposed to learn from this will help you grow from any challenges that life hands you. And as cliche as it sounds, a famous quote goes, life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it, which is by Charles Swindoll. So if any of you out there have similar stories to the one that I shared, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay grinding, reframe your mindset to a more positive one. Stop resisting, start accepting what can't be changed. I love you guys. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.